Ava is my name, and I am 22 years of age. Perhaps you're curious about how a girl of my age finds herself residing with her uncle, particularly in light of the story I'm about to unfold. To be honest, I never envisioned that this would come to pass either. As a graphic design student, I dedicate a significant portion of my time to the art of drawing, the intricacies of design, and the pursuit of freelance opportunities. Life has presented its challenges ever since my parents parted ways during my childhood. I traversed various places, seeking a sense of permanence. In the end, I found myself residing with my Uncle Nathan. It was never intended to unfold this way. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, allowing me to share more captivating true stories such as this one. Be sure to watch this video all the way through and give it a thumbs up, as the story unfolding is bound to captivate your interest. Kindly tap the like button to express your support. The journey began when my mother had to leave for work, and I found myself in need of a place to stay as I completed my college studies. Nathan, my uncle, stood as the sole beacon of support within my family. He has shared his life with his wife, Victoria, for several years now. In a picturesque abode nestled within the serene countryside, they reside, far removed from the bustling city life. I had envisioned this as merely a fleeting transition to a serene locale, yet reality unfolded in ways I had not anticipated. Several months passed, and I believed I had acclimated to the house, the rhythm of daily life, and the tranquility it offered, or so I presumed. Yet today, an event unfolded, one that I feel compelled to recount. The moment I stepped into Nathan's room, he lay there, lost in slumber. Before I delve into the details, be sure to subscribe to the channel to keep yourself informed about the unfolding of this narrative. Allow me to share a glimpse into the life of Nathan. He stands apart from the typical uncles. In my eyes, he has consistently embodied the role of a mentor rather than that of a mere family member. In my formative years, he guided me in mastering the art of riding a bike, imparted skills for repairing various household items, and celebrated my coming of age by gifting me my first car on my 18th birthday. Thus, when my mother found herself in need of someone to welcome me, Nathan emerged as the clear and undeniable choice. He possesses a deep sense of thoughtfulness, exudes patience, and radiates kindness. Yet, it wasn't solely him with whom I was taking this step. Victoria, his wife, had been a part of the scene for some time. 2 years have passed since their marriage, and initially, I harbored some doubts about her. She was older than Nathan, and there was something about her that made me feel like an intruder in their home. At first, I took refuge in the guest room tucked away at the far end of the house, making a conscious effort to remain unobtrusive. As time passed, the initial awkwardness faded, and Victoria began to share her insights on cooking, cleaning, and various household matters. We may not have been best friends, yet the atmosphere between us had softened compared to earlier times. I had hoped that circumstances were improving. However, of late I've observed an inexplicable phenomenon. As the moments unfolded in Nathan's presence, an undeniable pull towards him began to weave its way into my heart. His smiles, the fleeting brush of his hand, and the way his gaze lingered on me when he believed I was lost in thought. It was as if, distinct, it was impossible to overlook. A palpable tension started to weave itself between us, a force from which there was no retreat. I can sense your thoughts. Ava, what do you mean by that? He is your uncle. It seems utterly absurd. I am aware, this bond is inescapable. I attempted to dismiss it, convincing myself that it was merely a figment of my imagination. Yet, whenever we found ourselves in solitude, the air crackled with an unspoken energy, as if an invisible force was drawing us closer. This is the location. Events take a captivating turn. One evening, following dinner, I found myself engrossed in a project within the confines of my room when the sound of footsteps echoed softly in the hallway. Nathan had succumbed to a deep slumber for hours, while Victoria was out enjoying the company of friends, leaving us in solitude. Initially, it didn't cross my mind as anything significant. Yet, in that moment, the door to his bedroom let out a soft creak as it opened. I hesitated for a moment, caught in a dilemma between allowing him to find solace in his rest or stepping inside. Yet, an unseen force gently beckoned me in his direction. I gently pushed the door open, making every effort to avoid interrupting him. He reclined on his back, one arm casually resting behind his head, exuding an air of tranquility. In the stillness of slumber, the gentle glow filtering through the window painted delicate shadows across his features, rendering him almost ethereal. I lingered for a heartbeat, my pulse quickening. A warm rush spread across my cheeks, and my heart raced with intensity. I had never experienced such feelings before. Perhaps I simply yearned to gaze upon him, or perhaps it was something deeper. I was unaware. My reverie was abruptly shattered as I inadvertently toppled a vase, precariously positioned near his bed. The sound roused Nathan from his slumber, his eyes fluttering open, and for a fleeting instant, our gazes intertwined. His eyes were clouded with confusion. Yet there lies something more. Too, a sensation that eluded my grasp, an unnamed feeling lingering in the shadows of my mind. He blinked several times, attempting to concentrate on me, then released a sleepy chuckle. "Ava, what brings you to this place?" he inquired, his voice heavy with the remnants of slumber. My heart pounded in my chest as I grappled with the elusive words I sought. I found myself in a predicament, torn between the desire to remain unobtrusive and the challenge of articulating my intentions. My mouth felt parched. "Text. I didn't intend to disturb your slumber," I stammered, a flush of embarrassment creeping over me. Nathan stirred awake, his hands moving to gently massage the sleep from his eyes. He offered me a smile, the identical sort. The smile he offered was always patient. Yet today, a distinct spark flickered within his gaze, a moment that quickened my pulse. He regarded me intently for a brief moment before he chose to speak once more. "It's all right," he murmured softly. "Feel free to share your thoughts with me anytime. Ava, I stand by your side." I nodded, yet my thoughts whirled in a chaotic dance. This unfamiliar sensation left me at a loss for how to respond. The atmosphere in the room was thick, and I sensed my breath quickening. "I merely wished to converse," I murmured. Nathan's smile dimmed slightly, and for a fleeting moment, I caught a glimpse of uncertainty in his eyes before it disappeared entirely. He beckoned to the space beside him on the bed. "Approach if you will." Subsequently, "You can always confide in me," he said with a gentle warmth. I lingered in that moment, enveloped in uncertainty. Yet an undeniable force within me urged me onward. Instinctively, I took my place beside him. The air crackled with tension, denser than it had ever been before. The warmth of his body pressed against mine was palpable. The scent of his cologne lingered in the air. Our proximity was such that I could hear the rhythm of his breath and sense the gentle rise and fall of his chest. With every inhalation, my heart quickened once more. In a gradual, almost cinematic manner, I lifted my gaze to meet his. Our faces hovered near, the warmth of his presence enveloping me. His gaze held a gentle uncertainty. Yet, there lingered an additional element, a flicker that sent a shiver across my skin. "Ava, are you doing all right?" Nathan inquired softly. Prior to I might provide a response, I drew nearer to him, my heart raced, and my breath hitched in my throat. An inexplicable sensation enveloped me, an intensity that made the very air feel electrified. Nathan remained steadfast, refusing to withdraw. His gaze locked onto mine, brimming with a silent fervor. Silence enveloped him, yet his breath quickened, reflecting my own. The atmosphere in the room grew increasingly warm. The stillness enveloped us, thick with the weight of unvoiced thoughts. A tempest swirled within my mind. All events had converged to bring forth this pivotal instant. I found myself unable to resist. Gingerly, I drew closer, my lips quivering as though I were caught in a reverie. They grazed his. Initially, it was filled with doubt, a hesitant dance, but as his lips brushed against mine, tender and delicate, I found myself unable to resist. My thoughts clamored for me to halt, yet my body remained unyielding. This was essential for me. This was my desire. Nathan's hand cradled my cheek, drawing me nearer, while his other hand lingered beside us, brushing against my skin. The warmth of his touch enveloped me, The kiss intensified, blurring the lines between his lips and mine, merging our worlds into one. All else faded into oblivion. It was merely the two of us, ensnared in this inescapable bond. My thoughts surged with a whirlwind of confusion and guilt, yet intertwined within was an unexpected sense of clarity. What were we engaged in? What made it seem so essential? Words failed to capture its essence, and logic could not unravel its mystery. He drew back for a brief instant, his forehead gently touching mine. Our breaths came in heavy, unsteady waves, each inhalation a deliberate struggle, slow and trembling. His pulse throbbed against my skin, synchronizing with the quickened rhythm of my own heart. Eva. His voice carried a gentle quality, tinged with an undercurrent of something more profound. Though we ought not to, uncertainty lingered within me. Indeed, I consented. A deep-seated conviction within me denied any justification for halting my progress. Gingerly, I extended my hand, weaving my fingers through his. He remained close, his fingers entwined with mine, gripping me as firmly as I clung to him. Our gazes intertwined, lingering in a suspended moment. Silence enveloped us, the burden of it all lingered in the space between us. Ought we to consider this? Is it possible for us to do so? My hand instinctively found its way to the back of his neck, drawing him nearer. I pressed my lips to his once more. This moment was devoid of doubt, stripped of fear. It was solely the intense desire to remain near him, to bask in the warmth of his presence. Nathan's hand glided along my back, pulling me nearer. The connection between our bodies rendered every sensation profoundly intense. Uncertain of the destination, I found myself indifferent to the journey ahead. I longed to remain in this instant where just the two of us were present. My heart raced within me as his lips traveled to my neck, bestowing gentle kisses upon my skin. His breath brushed softly against my ear. A chill coursed through me, an experience unlike any I had ever known. Intensely personal, all-consuming, and profoundly misguided, yet exhilarating in a manner I found impossible to articulate. "Are you certain about this?" He whispered against my skin, his voice heavy with longing. "I have no desire to cause you pain." With my eyes shut tight, I sought to uncover my voice. Every fiber of my being urged me to halt, to retreat. Yet I found myself unable to do so. The yearning was overwhelming, the desire undeniable. Desire faded to ponder, a reluctance to challenge the status quo settled in. I merely longed to be by his side. I was certain, I murmured. My fingers glided over his chest, savoring the warmth of his skin beneath my touch. "I desire this. Nathan, my desire for you is undeniable." Once more, his lips sought out mine. This time, the kiss delved deeper, infused with a sense of urgency. There was no turning back now. The world beyond was irrevocably changed. The significance of the room faded away, eclipsed entirely by the emotions he stirred within me. Yearned for, essential, and vibrantly alive in a manner I had never encountered before. The atmosphere enveloped us, shadows deepening as the fervor of our bond intensified. Each touch, each kiss resonated with the unspoken promise of deeper connections, an enigmatic journey awaiting us, one we were both eager to embark upon. His heartbeat resonated steadily with mine, merging in a harmonious rhythm, and although a fragment of my being resisted the truth of the moment, a far greater part yielded entirely. It transcended mere kissing. It had evolved into something deeper. It was a connection that defied explanation, a bond that transcended mere words. "I've desired this for an eternity," Nathan murmured, his breath a gentle warmth brushing against my lips. I struggled to grasp his words while my hands explored his form, tracing the contours of his muscles beneath his skin, sensing his warmth and noting how he reacted to my touch. Yet, there was no retreating from this moment. Only the magnetic force between us, drawing us nearer in a manner neither of us had anticipated. Time appeared to freeze as we became enveloped in one another, caught in the gentle cadence of our kisses, the soothing warmth of our caresses, and for the first time, everything felt as it should. In the quiet of the room, we transcended the roles of uncle and niece, We became two souls intertwined by a connection more profound, more intense than anything I had ever experienced. The atmosphere surrounding Nathan and me was laden with an unspoken tension, a palpable stillness enveloping us as we remained frozen in place, words unuttered. The stillness was abruptly pierced by the creak of the front door swinging open downstairs. We froze, my heart racing, and I swiftly pulled away from Nathan, panic surging through my chest. What had we just accomplished? What was unfolding between us? A wave of guilt enveloped me, yet it was intertwined with an undeniable yearning that I could not dismiss. I found myself ensnared in the delicate balance between the fleeting moment we had just experienced and the undeniable truth that we were caught in a web of connection. We found it challenging to reverse. Nathan remained still, his gaze fixed on mine, yet his expression was a mystery, elusive and inscrutable. The warmth enveloped us, a palpable intimacy that still hung in the air, refusing to fade away. "Ava," he murmured, his voice taut, just before he could utter another word. The rhythmic sound of footsteps reverberated as they ascended the stairs. Nathan heard a voice that struck a familiar chord within me. My heart plummeted. It was Victoria. I sprang from the bed, my breath coming in quick, shallow gasps, uncertainty swirling within me. Thoughts surged through my mind like a tempest, yet I found myself at a standstill, unable to envision an escape from this predicament. Could I truly confront her after everything that had just transpired? The door to Nathan's room slowly creaked open, revealing Victoria in the doorway, her expression a canvas of surprise. Her gaze darted between Nathan and me, a look of bewilderment crossing her face as she absorbed the unfolding scene. "Ava? Nathan? What's happening here?" she inquired, her tone laced with uncertainty. Yet, there lingered an additional element. A sudden insight, perhaps, that indicated to her that something was amiss. A wave of dizziness washed over me, leaving my complexion pale and ghostly. Victoria's presence struck like a splash of icy water, and in that instant, everything seemed amiss. This was beyond explanation. There was no way to rationalize the events that had just unfolded between Nathan and me. My throat constricted. A silent battle waged within as I grappled with the elusive words. I faltered at a loss for words. Nathan, perched on the edge of the bed, appeared equally adrift. He rubbed the back of his neck, a gesture of clear embarrassment, grappling with the challenge of finding the right words to explain. Victoria's eyes shifted from him to me, and in that moment, an unvoiced connection blossomed between us. Felt as though, in that fleeting instant, the world transformed. Victoria sensed that an event had transpired, one that was decidedly out of place. Yet, her response took me by surprise. In her eyes, there lingered not anger or disappointment, but a profound and unsettling sadness. As she entered the room, she gently shut the door behind her. Her presence was authoritative, and the room descended into an unusual, taut silence, reminiscent of the stillness preceding a tempest. "Ava, you need to understand something," Victoria said gently, her voice softer than I had expected. "There exists a depth to this that transcends your current comprehension, a complexity that eludes both of your understandings." I gazed at her, a wave of bewilderment washing over me. What is this? What was her intention? What else remained? The silence hung in the air long after Victoria had departed. Her words lingered in the atmosphere, etching a lasting impression on us both, even amidst the swirling confusion. Her serene comprehension and generous offer of direction bestowed upon me an unforeseen gift. Anticipation. Victoria wasn't filled with anger. She did not abandon us. Rather, she offered us an opportunity, a possibility that seemed delicate and ambiguous, yet undeniably present. I cast a fleeting look at Nathan. His expression was a blend of remorse and bewilderment, accompanied by an elusive emotion I couldn't fully grasp. He averted my gaze, his hands fidgeting together in a nervous rhythm. He bore the heavy burden of the events that had transpired, how our worlds had intertwined in the most unforeseen manner. Yet, as I pondered further, it became increasingly clear that none of this had been orchestrated by anyone. Events had transpired, slipping through our grasp. One thing was certain, we could not turn a blind eye to it. We could no longer feign that nothing had transpired. Victoria had a point there. The emotions and uncertainty, all matters required attention. It was a confrontation that could not be avoided, a challenge to be met directly. "Nathan," I murmured, my voice quivering ever so slightly. "What are our next steps?" Nathan cast his gaze in my direction. His eyes brimmed with a tapestry of emotions. "I'm uncertain, Eva. Uncertainty envelopes my emotions. What should one contemplate? I'm uncertain whether I should embrace anger, succumb to shame, or if I'm permitted to experience any emotion whatsoever." His voice trembled, betraying the turmoil woven into his speech. He found himself caught in a tumultuous struggle, balancing the profound bond we had forged against the unwavering loyalty he owed to Victoria, his wife. The matter at hand was too complex to be resolved in a single discussion. The matter was far from straightforward. With a steadying inhale, I approached him, narrowing the space that lay between us. I felt compelled to connect with him, to offer solace in his time of need. Yet, I found myself questioning whether that was indeed the appropriate course of action. Uncertainty clouded my judgment, leaving me adrift in a sea of doubt. "I doubt we'll unravel it all at this moment," I murmured gently. "However, I believe it's essential for us to engage in a conversation, to lay our cards on the table with sincerity. This matter is far too intricate to overlook." Nathan inclined his head with deliberation, his demeanor grave yet devoid of anger. "Indeed, I'm aware, yet I find myself at a loss for where to begin." I grasped his hand, the contact a blend of solace and unvoiced tension. "Feeling. We begin by acknowledging the events that transpired, the emotions we experienced, and the feelings that linger within us. And then we discern what unfolds thereafter." He nodded once more, a hint of softness creeping into his expression. "The path ahead will be fraught with challenges, Eva. Yet, I yearn for comprehension. I seek to comprehend the dynamics unfolding between us." I grasped his hand, the touch a blend of solace and unvoiced feelings. "I lack all the answers, Nathan. Uncertainty looms over what lies ahead. Yet, I am not fleeing from this. Not any longer." We lingered in silence for a moment, each of us adrift in our own reflections, struggling to comprehend the whirlwind of events that had unfolded. The path ahead was shrouded in uncertainty. There are no straightforward solutions. The feelings, the uncertainty. It was indeed a torrent of sensations. What Victoria had extended to us was a lifeline, a sanctuary where we could confront our challenges collectively, to grapple with the chaos that had enveloped us. I cast my gaze upon Nathan once more. In that moment, I sensed a profound shift. Regardless of what lay ahead, we would confront it with unwavering honesty. No flawless remedy existed, no straightforward path to mend the situation. Yet, a glimmer of hope remained, yearning for clarity and restoration, and perhaps for something beyond that. As I reclined, my mind surged with a whirlwind of possibilities. Victoria lingered in my thoughts, an uninvited guest in the corridors of my mind. Her words, imbued with calmness and a genuine offer of understanding, had unveiled a door I had been blissfully unaware of. She had not turned us away. Instead, she had not condemned us. She had afforded us the space to exhale, the opportunity to reflect on the events that had unfolded. Yet what might unfold thereafter? What might transpire? What if we acknowledged the profound emotions that linger within us? Shall we proceed? Or might the burden of it all prove overwhelming? However, those inquiries are best reserved for a later moment. There we were, Nathan and I, enveloped in the quiet of our mutual doubt. We were acutely aware that everything had irrevocably changed. Our only course of action was to move forward, whatever that may entail. Together, we would unravel the complexities that lay before us.